Welcome to In the Lab, a podcast from Luminate, the leading provider of data and insights for the entertainment industry. I'm Andrew Wallenstein, Chief Media Analyst with Luminate Intelligence. I'm sitting down this week with Rahul Purini, President of Crunchyroll, the leading company serving the booming global market for anime content. While primarily known as a streaming service for 17 million subscribers in over 200 countries, Crunchyroll makes its presence known outside of streaming in many other ways as well. We will get into all of that. Thank you for coming in studio, Rahul.
Thank you, Andrew. Nice to be here. Excited to have this conversation.
And I'm excited too, because I really feel like anime is having a real moment right now. And I think a lot of people don't quite understand just how popular this is. And there was an interesting survey that you guys commissioned earlier this year that I thought really put it in perspective by comparing it to some of the other sort of leading regional entertainment genres like telenovelas and Bollywood. And when you looked at the data, what was so interesting was you guys were, when I say you guys, I mean anime in general, was clearly more popular in every generation, especially so among teens. How do you explain this explosion?
Yeah, Andrew, as you said, anime is having a moment. It's become a movement. It is no longer a niche. It is part of the mainstream. It is part of the pop culture. Few things that are contributing to it, right? I think in general, the accessibility of anime, which inherently is a Japanese way of storytelling, created in Japan, the adoption of broadband, the adoption of streaming and SVOD has made anime accessible globally, and that's been a key contributor to the growth in anime. But in general, anime has been generational, and it is global, right? Across countries, across the world, it is popular. As you mentioned in our NRG study, it's very clear that when fans get into anime, they fall in love immediately, but they stay in that fandom or in that love for a long time. Millennials and Gen X in our survey said they've been fans for over a decade. So that's one. And to your point, when you look at Gen Z and Gen Alpha and the teenagers, one stat that stands out for us is 40% of Gen Z say anime has had a huge impact on who they are as an individual, right? And 78% of Gen Z say anime has made their relationships stronger.
Relationships with other people?
With other people, wow. in their life, stronger. And also with social media, there's a lot of conversations in the community around anime. 82% of anime fans find their next anime or talk about anime, share clips on social media. So all of that, like the kinds of stories, the impact anime is having on the fan and on their relationships, on who they are, it is for Gen Z and Gen Alpha, it is an identity forming medium or connection. And social media, SVOD, streaming, making it more accessible have been huge contributors to the growth of anime.
And so the explosion of anime in general is remarkable, but I would think what's equally remarkable is that Crunchyroll is unmistakably, there's not even an argument that you guys are the leading brand. And I think what is most remarkable about that is when people think of success in the world of SVOD entertainment, it's always like Netflix, it's Disney, it's some clear major brands. And look, you guys are part of Sony. It's not like you're some scrappy little independent out of nowhere. But when you look at the amount of content that you guys are producing relative to, say, Netflix or even maybe in cable television, we've looked at data on our from our own Luminate film and TV data library. It's astounding. I have here that you guys produced 92 series in 2024 alone. Is volume very important to winning in this game?
So Andrew said, I think we on our service offer close to 50,000 episodes, 25,000 hours of content. We are adding somewhere between 50 and 60 new seasons every quarter. So that is 200 to 240 new seasons every year. The thing that we say at Crunchyroll is we're not interested in being something for everyone. We want to be everything for someone, and that someone being the anime fan. That focus is really important. That's been really key for our growth. And so with that in mind, we don't necessarily focus on volume for the sake of volume. What drives the volume of content we are adding or the volume of content we are offering to our fans is we want to be that place where anime fans can come and find the show that they want. So that breadth and the depth of shows that we offer our fans is a real differentiator for us and a key priority for us. We also talked about how anime is mainstream, it's popular, it's growing. Some of our internal research shows that there's about 1.5 billion people outside of Japan and China that are interested in anime, consider themselves to be anime curious. And so when we have that large of an audience and we want to give any one of them the content that they specifically want to watch, we have to curate a slate or a catalog that is pretty broad to be able to meet that demand. I think that's part of it, is like we are trying to meet the needs of those fans that we want to serve, and we need the breadth and depth of content to be able to meet that demand. Second thing is when you look at anime in Japan, most of anime that's produced in Japan is sourced from manga, the Japanese comic books. There's over 30,000 manga books published or comics published in Japan every year. About 300 to 350 of those get converted to anime. So there is a breadth of content being created that's also available, and there is global audience that's interested in getting access to that. So that also is another factor into us bringing that volume of content for our fans. The last thing I would add is, I go back to what I said. Anime is a medium and not a genre, and anime has a lot of genres in it. You have everything from action and adventure or shonen to slice of life, romance, comedy, sci-fi, fantasy. And so when you have that breadth of genres and the kinds of shows that we want to offer within that, it also adds the volume and creates the breadth of the catalog that we offer to our fans.
Got it. And I understand when you reference, the Japanese manga market, that Japan its production community is absolutely crucial here. We've got some data showing what the growth of this market has been over from 2014 through 2023, and it's essentially doubled in that time. And I guess I'm curious about the importance of that being the place, the source for the content, because I don't know, you could argue, why even depend on Japan? Make your own stuff.
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is anime is an intrinsically a Japanese art form, right? When we think of anime, we believe for anime to be authentically anime, it has to be conceived and or created in Japan. That Japanese way of storytelling, that connection back to Japanese culture, pop culture, is really core to anime being authentically anime. And that's important for our community and our fans. And so that's why I think that connection to Japan is crucial. Having said that, the stories themselves can be global and don't necessarily have to be from Japan. And we have seen that be successful in anime. I'll give you an example. Solo Leveling is a show that we released last year. It was one of our biggest shows on the platform last year. The second season came out this January. Again, the biggest show on the platform this year, came from a Korean webtoon. So it's a Korean show that we took to Japan, worked with our partners in Japan to create what we would consider an authentic anime. And fans around the world have received it. It was the biggest show for us in any territory that we launched. And so the shows themselves, the IP, the stories themselves can be global. But as long as they are told from that Japanese creator's perspective, that connection to the Japanese creator and the Japanese way of storytelling is there, we believe it's not only important for the community, it also makes it authentically anime.
Got it. And it was interesting. Recently, you drew the line at using AI as part of the creative process. And I wanted to understand that because we here at Luminate just recently put out a report on animation and AI, looking at the entire marketplace. And you can't tell the story of the animation industry right now without talking about AI. And we have one data point, for instance, about consumer acceptance of Gen AI, and illustrations using animation was something that registered. I'd say about 30% said they were either very uncomfortable or somewhat uncomfortable with the usage of AI there. So how have you been able to navigate that? And I guess drawing the line that you did was part of this.
Yeah. So again, AI is a hot topic. It's a buzzword right now, but we all recognize the impact it's already had and will potentially have in all walks of life, right? As an entertainment company, we believe in two things. One, as a entertainment company bringing creative shows to fans, we have to protect the authenticity and the creativity of anime and how anime is produced. And that means honoring, celebrating the creators, the voice actors, the animators behind these shows. So from that standpoint, we feel like whatever technology the creators need to be able to tell their stories, that's up to the creators. The creators across the world have been using technology at their disposal to tell the stories that they want to tell for a long time. And as new technology comes available to them, they get to use that. And if that enhances the way they are able to tell stories, that's great. And but our focus is ensuring that we can protect the authenticity of that creative intent and the way that anime is produced. At the same time, as a technology company that is bringing these stories to fans globally, it is our responsibility to look at technology, including AI, and saying, how can we use this to connect our fans and our audience to these shows in a better way? And we definitely plan to do that and are working on that. And so it's a balance, right? Like there is a hesitation within our community that this might take away from the authenticity of anime. And as long as creators are able to do it, retaining their way of telling the stories and the authenticity, it's up to them. But we will, as a technology company, will use AI to ensure that we are bringing amazing experiences to our fans.
Last year, Luminate Intelligence ran a survey together with Harris X, trying to get a sense from, like 15 different factions of the business, what the level of sensitivity was. And animators finished at number one. I mean, are you feeling that out there as you deal in the animation community? Are you feeling that level of sensitivity?
Look, the conversation is very active in the community, whether it's in the production ecosystem, whether it is within our audience globally. There is an active conversation about AI, the impact of AI on the production workflows, the quality of stories that are going to be told. It is early days, is what I would say, right? Like everybody is testing, trying to learn, and trying to balance the same thing that I mentioned earlier, which is how do we continue to empower the creators to tell the stories with the technology that they want to use, but still retain the authenticity of the process, but also use the technology to its best extent possible to make these connections amazing.
So obviously the streaming service is the heart of the Crunchyroll operation, but I think what some may not realize is you guys are really sort of spreading your tentacles in other places, theatrical, merchandise. Tell us a little bit about how you are doing your thing in these other places.
Like I mentioned earlier, Andrew, for us at Crunchyroll, it's really important to stay focused on this fandom, the anime fan. And that's where I said, like, we are really focused on being everything for that someone being the anime fan. And for an anime fan, the stories are core to their fandom, but the anime is broader than just the streaming or watching the shows. To a certain extent, it's a lifestyle for them. They want to watch the shows. They want to wear the apparel or buy collectibles from their favorite shows. They want to play games. They want to listen to music. They want to read manga. They want to attend events. And so it's part of our strategy, part of our effort is to ensure we are giving fans the ability to experience their shows and the fandom across those touch points. Like you said, streaming is the biggest touch point we have. We have over 17 million paying subscribers globally. And so that's the largest touch point we have. But we also try to lean in and give them those experiences across the other channels. Our e-commerce or our merch business allows them to buy the apparel, wear their fandom on their sleeve, if you will, or collect the figures from their favorite shows to show them off. We have launched a service that's part of our subscription called Crunchyroll Game Vault, where we make over 60 plus games available to our subscribers for free if they're a subscriber. We have music on the platform. So you have music videos, you have music concerts available because anime music is a big part of the anime fandom. We bring music to real world events. So anime fans like to convene at conventions where they can meet up with other fans and be part of that community. And we are bringing music and experiences to those events. I'll also mention theatrical. We were talking before we started. We have a big movie coming this weekend, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Infinity Castle. Theatrical experiences are really important for our fans. They love to watch their favorite shows and their favorite characters on big screen with friends and family, has a community. And so we're bringing somewhere between 9 to 12 movies to global audiences in theaters every year.
Is Demon Slayer the first time you've done this?
No, we've done this for over 10 years. We have 10 out of the top 20 anime the biggest box office movies in the US were released by us. So we've done this for a long time. Demon Slayer is the biggest movie this year. We're really excited. We did a premiere here in LA where a ton of fans showed up. And so it's really a celebration of the medium for fans. And so that's another component of that. We call it the flywheel or the 360 offering for us to the fans. And then the last thing I would highlight is like anime and manga are integral there for this community. We just announced earlier this year we're going to be releasing Crunchyroll digital manga app, a add-on to our subscription service, so fans can read digital manga from Japan and other places on the app as an add-on to their subscription service. So it's definitely part of our strategy. We truly believe focusing on this audience and trying to give them amazing experiences across their fandom is a key priority for us.
That all makes sense. And there's a lot of spokes in this flywheel. Let me ask about one potential one, which is surely you have seen the hype around micro dramas and the pretty incredible growth that we've seen that really for a medium that barely existed a few years ago. Is there an anime application there? Is this something you guys are looking at?
Yeah, like you said, this is a phenomenon that's taken really growing really fast. You're seeing it in a lot of other genres and other entertainment formats. I'll say two things. One, it's all short form or clips or micro pieces of content have always been big within the anime community. Yeah. So if you look at YouTube, our YouTube channel that we offer, fans really passionately engage with the clips and the content on that platform or other social media channels, whether it be openings and endings of anime, whether it be songs and music from anime or short parts of the story. They're really popular. So us and creators are both noticing this phenomenon, if you will, but also this interest in fans to engage in content at bite sizes. And so there's a lot of experimentation going on in anime as well with formats, size of content, size of releases, the cadence of releases, the distribution channels. So yes, we're definitely trying different things. So more to come.
Okay. As we mentioned, 17 million subscribers. That's a very impressive number for something that's not general entertainment. Of course, there's pressure that comes with that, maintaining that growth. And so I was curious about sort of two vectors here. Number one, global expansion. I'm assuming there's some territories you're stronger in than others. And also, I understand that you've done some work in terms of ad-supported versions of the Crunchyroll experience, and I was curious how that plays into future growth plans.
Yeah, I'll take both of those. Like I mentioned earlier, the fandom is huge, right? Like there's 1.5 billion people outside of Japan and China that consider themselves to be anime curious. So the audience is already large, and it is growing. Our research shows that by 2030, that number will be 2 billion plus. So it is one of the fastest growing sectors within entertainment, and projected to keep that pace or grow faster than general entertainment growth over the next 5 years. So that, and to your point, that is across the globe. We are seeing that here in the US, but in Latin America, Europe, India, APAC. And we are at 17 million paying subscribers. So early days for us. The opportunity is big, and we expect and hope to grow along with the growth in anime. And the growth is going to come, we are seeing the growth coming from all parts of the world. US, Canada, North America is still growing. New fans are coming in, especially as Gen Z and Gen Alpha come into the medium and fall in love and build the ability to pay for it. We are seeing the growth continue. But we are seeing growth in other parts of the world. Brazil is our second largest paying market from a subscriber base standpoint. And we are seeing the growth continue there. Mexico, France, and Germany are big markets, continue to grow. India is another market that we essentially entered that market 2 years ago, and it's one of our fastest growing markets. Young population, huge anime fan base. There hasn't been a lot of opportunity for fans to connect with official sources of anime, so we are seeing growth. So yes, we are seeing growth across the regions. We have teams local teams in each of these regions because we find it important that we are in the region, understand the fans, connect with the fans in all the ways we can. And we recently talked about our regional hub strategy where we're setting hubs in London, Mexico City, India, US to actually help in reaching the fans across the world and growing our presence in each of these regions. So yeah, for sure, we're going to see growth across the globe. And in terms of AVOD, our AVOD is a separate offering from our subscription service. So our subscription, our SVOD tiers, are completely ad-free. Our AVOD offering is a top-of-the-funnel strategy for us. It is a way for us to allow fans that are not yet ready to subscribe to our service to sample the content and try more content before they decide to convert into a paying subscriber. And so we have about 1,000 hours of content on AVOD. We refresh that on a quarterly basis. The content is different depending on which region we are in. We do monetize it through ads, but it is one component of a ad-based sampling strategy for us. There are other pieces of it. I mentioned YouTube earlier. We use YouTube also as a way to allow fans to sample and decide when they are ready to subscribe. We launched a year ago, we launched a linear fast channel, also ad supported to help in our sampling strategy. We talked about the volume of content we have on our service. Sometimes that could be overwhelming for a new fan. So we curate a linear experience for somebody to start to understand what anime is, start engaging with titles or content that they would like. And so that fast channel is another sampling approach. So yeah, AVOD definitely is part of our strategy in terms of sampling and top of the funnel.
Got it. One last question, and that is, I wanted to get an understanding of what it means to be a part of the Sony family. Clearly, when you've got a company like that size in your corner, there's got to be synergies and such that help make Crunchyroll. I just want to understand how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Andrew. It is a privilege and a huge advantage to be part of the Sony family. Sony, as you know, is a Japanese company. Anime is in their DNA.
Sure.
And we've had ton of support, tremendous amount of support across the board from Sony in terms of our strategy, our priorities, and our growth. Like you said, Sony as a creative entertainment company has entertainment with Sony Pictures, with live action and animation, TV, has music, has gaming through PlayStation. And all of those things are opportunities for us to tap into, work with in service of our strategy. We are part of Sony Pictures Entertainment, 100-year-old studio that has taken Hollywood stories global. A lot for us to learn as we try to take anime global, but also a lot of experience, infrastructure at the studio that we get to tap into. We talked about theatrical movies that we are bringing. So we work with Sony Pictures Entertainment to bring our movies to theaters, right? Like they have teams across the world, they have relationships across the world that, and they're some of the best in terms of bringing movies to screens. And so we partner with them. Aniplex is a Sony company out of Japan. They are one of the best anime production companies in the ecosystem. They're a Sony company. So we partner with them on making sure that the best anime is delivered to fans. Earlier this year, we announced that we created a joint venture with them called Hayate, where Aniplex will deploy its expertise in producing anime on behalf of producing shows for Crunchyroll, right? Like, so that's another cool synergy that we get to partner with another Sony company. You mentioned PlayStation. PlayStation is, as a platform, hugely over-indexes where our fans like to watch anime. Our data shows that almost every anime fan is a gamer. Not every gamer is an anime fan, but every anime fan is a gamer. And so to have a company like PlayStation in our corner to be able to collaborate and work with them in bringing anime to fans across the world, again, a huge privilege, a huge advantage. And then the last thing I would mention is Sony Music, right? Sony Music, one of the largest music companies, Sony Music Entertainment in Japan, is also huge in anime music. There's a ton of music artists and celebrities that are anime fans themselves. And that gives us the opportunity to not only bring that music into anime shows, but also collaborate with those artists and musicians to talk about their fandom, to introduce anime to audiences across the world. So, like I said, it is an honor and privilege to be part of the Sony Group. It's a huge differentiating advantage for us, and we feel lucky that we can tap into that to focus on our strategy and growth.
Well, when you break out all that firepower, it's no wonder that this has been as huge as it is. So I congratulate you on being part of quite a growth story. Thanks for coming in and talking to me.
Thanks for the opportunity, Andrew. It was great talking to you.